Hey Scott, how you doing?
I'm awesome, Hugh. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you for taking the time.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
My pleasure. Scott, tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do.
Absolutely. So, I'm the CEO of Controllers Limited. I'm also the managing member of Generational Wealth Solutions. Basically, for the last 27 years, I've been a certified asset protection planner and a certified estate planner, better known as a generational wealth expert. My team and I, we have a combined 70 years of experience in corporate structure, compliance, advanced asset protection, and estate planning. And ultimately, I've built a legacy for my son and my granddaughter. So it's my passion to teach other people how to do the exact same thing.
Nice. Now, Scott, you've got some associates that are kind of popular too. What's that book called? Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Do you know that guy?
Absolutely. Yeah. So Robert Kiyosaki, way back before he wrote the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, there was a team that I was part of where we helped Robert, get the corporate structure in place, make sure that everything was positioned to release the book, release the cash flow game. And, through that time, I also encountered many other experts or mentors, if you will, like Laurel Langemeyer, C.W. Allen, and the like. So, yes, absolutely.
So you're in pretty good company, I would say, or they're in
I
good company, huh?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's a great fit for everybody. Correct.
All right, fair enough, fair enough. Now, Scott, I've read Rich Dad Poor Dad. I know, especially in the world today, everybody in the U.S. is sue happy. Um, taxes. I mean, trying to sit there and keep your taxes coming in from, one generation to another. Tell me a little bit about asset protection, like on a personal level, on a business level.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think John D. Rockefeller said it best. In his final interview, he was asked, "What was the secret to your financial success?" And his response was, "Own nothing and control everything." Because if you own it, it can be taken from you. But if you control it by utilizing corporations, LLCs, and trusts, you don't own it. So it can't be taken from you. So that's a key factor in how to protect assets not only on a personal but also a business level.
Yeah, but if you don't own it, how do you maintain control of an asset?
So by way of being a president of a corporation or the manager of an LLC, if the stock ownership of the corporation is held in a trust or the membership units of an LLC are held in a trust, the trust technically becomes the owner. And you, as the president or the manager of the entity, have the ability to move assets around, make investments on behalf of the entity. So, again, you're controlling the asset, but you can honestly say without penalty of perjury, I don't own it.
Oh, that's fair enough. Well, and now there's different structures. Then you mentioned trust. I know that a lot of people will do LLCs. They'll do, corporation S corps, as multiple corporations. What are some of the structures that you would put in place? Do you combine each one, or should you have separate one for each one?
Well, that's a great question, Hugh. So, what we have to do in business, there's not a one size fits all. Most people will go out and form an LLC because their CPA told them to do so or their friend told them to do so. But, there's not a one size fits all. There's multiple different types of entities, C corps, S corps, LLCs, and really we've got to identify what entity is right for your business or your investments. So again, it's not one size fits all. Now, when we talk about asset protection, when we create an entity that is liability protection, if your business gets sued, your personal assets cannot be affected. But on the flip side of that, how do we protect the business from you, the individual? Right? That's a thing that most business owners don't even think about. So, by utilizing multiple different entity structures and having them contract with one another, they're not going to have a direct ownership. It's a arm's length
Ah,
between the two. So if it's contractual, now we can sever the contract at any point in time if we so choose.
that's the you're a smart man, Scott. I got you. That's the
Well,
secret
thanks.
having a relation. I got you. Now, we've talked asset protect. What about taxes though? I mean, you've got assets, you got taxes.
Absolutely. So, it goes back to that old saying of the more money we as individuals make, the more money they take, because more money to us personally results in higher tax brackets. Whereas when we utilize corporations and LLCs, we activate a completely different tax code that we as individuals are not allowed to tap into. Those
Right.
81,000 pages give you, the business owner, the business owner, the ability to take advantage of upward of 233 to 305 different corporate write-offs. So that allows you far more use of your money up front, which ultimately results in paying a lot less in taxes.
So you see the guy that's driving the Lamborghini and he's got his real estate sign on it and he's got all a wrap saying blah blah real estate. That's a tax write-off, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, things like people are like, "Well, I'm going to go on vacation." Take vacation out of your vocabulary. Everything should be a business trip, right? Business trips are tax deductible. Vacations are post-tax expenses. Just like you said, the Ferrari or the Lamborghini, absolutely, it's a corporate write-off because you're giving a good appearance for, your customers, your clientele, especially if you're dealing with higher end real estate or higher end business.
Okay. So let me ask you this now. So we've talked a lot about asset protection. Somebody starting out might be younger, might be older, um, maybe is not as wealthy. I mean, do you have to be rich to really kind of do this stuff and know this stuff? Or, what if you're starting out or start a new company?
Absolutely. Yeah. So trusts, LLCs, and corporations aren't just for the wealthy. Really, when you start your company, you want to start with your entity as the foundational component. From there is where you build the infrastructure. And so, if you're in that startup phase, having a team is absolutely essential to provide you the guidance as to, am I setting up the right entity for my business venture? Now that I've set it up, what do I need to do next? That's the sequencing component of it.
Well, that's my next question. Okay. Well, I've already set up my business. It's been around for 10 years. Is this like going to cost me an arm and a leg to restructure, or is there something I can adapt to?
Yeah, there absolutely is. Whether you're just starting out or you've been in business 5, 10, 15 years, we can absolutely help. Really what we need to do is we need to evaluate the business and identify where we're at in business and where we want to be. And what does that growth pattern or that sequence look like, right?
Okay.
So, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. So that was the short of it, right?
absolutely.
I got you. All right. Fair enough. Fair enough. So it doesn't matter whether you're starting out, whether you're rich or poor, whether you have an established business or starting one. The structure is important, and the sooner you do it, the better it is. So asset protection, be able to help with taxes. Obviously, it's all legal. So,
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's
um,
and that's one of the things that, a lot of people form LLCs because they're told that they don't have the same compliance requirements that you do with a corporation. And
right.
so a lot of people think that, I'm 10 years in, I don't have to do minutes and resolutions. But it's absolutely imperative when you have LLCs and corporations that you keep up on the compliance documents, because if you're ever challenged in an audit, a contract dispute, or a lawsuit, the very first set of documents that they look at are not your financials, it's your corporate records. And if we don't
Mm.
have corporate records, they can prove what's called the alter ego theory, meaning you and the company are one and the same. And so we can now just set the company aside and talk
Oh,
directly to you. So
right.
again, being in business is great, but we also got to make sure we meet those compliance factors.
Right. Which is, I mean, that's so important. So, Scott, how can our viewers work with you, align themselves with you, contact you? What is the best way?
Absolutely. So if you want to contact me, the best way to do so would be through either my website, which is www.controllersltd.com, or you can always send us an email at info@controllersltd.com. Or if you want to set up a complimentary review or consultation to evaluate your structure, you can reach out to us at 775-384-8124 and book a time to, about an hour, 45 minutes to discuss your situation.
Scott, I think you're going to get now you put your number out, you're going to get a bunch of phone calls with Royal Prince of Nigeria telling you that they've got something that want to give you.
Well, I encourage the calls.
All right, fair enough, my friend. Scott, thank you so much for your time. I hope to have you on the show again. A little more detail in how to set up structures and asset protection. And I appreciate you coming on.
Awesome, Hugh. I appreciate you bringing me on and having me as a guest.
Thank you.